self-compassion or self-care. There are these terms now that at times it's interesting that I feel like at times now they can almost be like accidentally misused. Like there are times
Sure.
when it's like self-care, I'm gonna, sit and watch TV. And it's like, sometimes that very much could be self-care, but also sometimes self-care is getting out and taking a walk instead. Do
Absolutely.
you find in your work that there's ever a confusion between like what self-compassion looks like and confusing it with something else?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's why more recently I started talking about both the tender and fierce sides of self-compassion. Right.
Mm,
So compassion is, what do I need to alleviate my suffering?
right.
Sometimes we need tender acceptance, right? So we need just accept myself as I am. Maybe we need to take a break. Maybe we need to go easier. But sometimes what we need is fierceness. We need to take action, right? So yeah, I can always accept myself, but I don't want to accept all my behaviors, especially if they're harming me. And I certainly don't want to accept all the situations I find myself in if
Mm,
they're harmful, right? So sometimes we need to take action. We need to do something to alleviate our suffering. And that's what I call the fear side of self-compassion. And so what happens is anything can be misused, right? So sometimes self-compassion is actually a cover for self-indulgence. What's self-indulgence? Short-term pleasure, but long-term harm.
mm,
So if you're doing something that's actually harming you in the long run, by definition, it's not self-compassion. Because
wow.
self-compassion is all about alleviating suffering, right? It's moving toward health and well-being. But the nice thing is when the bottom line is unconditional self-acceptance, even when your behaviors need to be changed, it really gives you the freedom to be authentic and look and say, wow, that's actually, I'm lying to myself. This doesn't mean I'm a bad person. Everyone does it. But can I really see what's honestly happening here?
Right.
Self-compassion gives you the safety to ask that question. And then you might say, actually, I'm not helping myself. Why don't I just, do something about it that'll
Yeah.
probably be more effective in the long run? It's really, and one way of thinking about self-compassion is it's asking yourself the question, honestly, and with clear sight, what do I really need right now? And sometimes, it's maybe uncomfortable what I really need right. Often, actually, it's really uncomfortable what I need right now. But if
Yeah.
you care, you'll do it.
Right. I love that. Yeah, I feel like the so much I was journaling like last week and I felt like I wrote this. I was like 99% of the time self-care is like a form of self-control or self-discipline. And it's more about like my thoughts when I think it's like, am I observing myself honestly and going and doing things that are self-compassionate versus like just being like having a knee-jerk response of like, I need to go do more stuff because
Yeah,
shame. But it's
right.
interesting that there's like a level of and it sounds funny and correct me if you disagree, but there's a level of like almost self control maybe in being able to say, is this the right type of compassion or is this truly self compassion in those decisions?
Right. Yeah. So maybe self-control, self-regulation, I mean, all these terms are all they're really difficult terms to connect with. But what it
Mm,
is the ability to turn inward,
yes.
kind of open your heart and mind. So opening your mind means being willing to see that actually maybe what you think is good for you really isn't.
Mm,
Opening your heart is allowing that care to come forth. Really, I really do care about myself and others,
right.
and then want the best outcome. And then what comes out of that space of being open-hearted and open-minded, which
Right.
is different than what comes out of the space of fear or just negativity or judgment or shame.
Sure.
Usually what comes out of the space of open heart and open mind is much more effective, much more useful, also more creative, right?
Mm,
So the ability to see possibilities come from that space of openness. If you just really shut
right.
down and only the very narrow focus, this is wrong, this is bad, you actually can't see the creative possibilities that may be right in front of your face because you're so focused on what's wrong, you don't even see what could be right.